I think the pay-per-view is dying. Riyadh season and the Ring magazine, what we are doing in the boxing, what Saudi Arabia is doing in the boxing. There is a lot of big events. In 30 days, in the zone, you will have 3 pay-per-view. The Ring 3 and the card of the e-gaming in Riyadh and Dubois and Ozik in 1 month. This is, I think, is not healthy for boxing. If you are a normal customer, if you are paying for the zone around $20 to $30, I don't know how much the zone now charge for the month to have the fights, and that's mean you almost pay in the year 200 something or 300 maximum. If you put plus and that, the pay-per-view with, like now we have 3 cards in 1 month. If you put extra money, it will cost the customers a lot. This can make it for the customers thinking, and this is not right, but they are thinking, oh, I will not renew, I will try to see it piracy and saving money. If I pay less than cup of coffee cost for seeing boxing for free each month, I will do it. But if you charge me a lot, I will think to have it piracy, I will think to have it illegal. And this is not good for us.
Hey man, I guess they seen my Turkey video. So my people hit me up and said they got some knowledge that y'all can't get from nobody's college about this situation. So you know, what's going on is Turkey Al-Sheikh is, went back on his word about no more pay-per-view. And what's going on is that he losing money. And allegedly Dana White told him the only way he can make money is putting mega fights on pay-per-view because the network money isn't enough to cover the event. Now, a little bit of regurgitation on life or on how this works. I learned this from Mikey Garcia, who talked about this when he was going through his thing with Top Rank, and he says that the network put the money, get the promoters the money for the fight. The promoters take the money, they take their own money out their pocket and pay for the undercard. So the network giving them enough money for the main event. It could be $5 million, but usually what they do is they take some off the top, put it in their pocket. Let's say they got $5 million. They might pay $1 million to, let's say, Mikey, $1 million to Joe, right? They might take $1 million of that money and put it on the undercard. I'm just doing, and the other $2 million, they might just pocket it for themselves. Don't forget also, each fight on that promotional card, that fight on that card, they get, they take a promotional fee from them. So it's just not their manager taking a piece, the promoters take a piece of the pie too. So you got to remember that. So apparently, Turkey is spending money. He's not turning a profit with these major fights. Hence why they want a lot of these major fights to go in Saudi Arabia. They don't want them to come to America because in Saudi Arabia, at least they get to see them firsthand, first and foremost. So he ain't turning a profit. Dana White tried to tell him the mega fights got to go on pay-per-view for them to make money. So the funding that he using right now, it just ain't making no money. These fights ain't making no money. He coming in, giving the fans the fights they want to see, and they're not selling. A lot of that money that he spent, he's paid to spend a whole bunch of money to Canelo, and he's probably already in the hole for the Canelo fight. Whether it was William Skull, whether it was Terrence Crawford, they haven't turned a profit that they wasn't supposed to. So I don't know how much Netflix paid for the event. I don't know how much the gate took in. And the gate are small, sometimes small potatoes too. If you, let's say you turned a $20 million gate, but you paying Canelo $150, I mean, what the fuck? So they, at the end of the day, I got a lot of money to burn, but in business, you invest money to eventually get a return, to make a profit on your investment. You at least want to break even. And right now, They ain't even breaking even. They ain't even breaking even right now. So they in the hole. So therefore, they have to go back on pay-per-view. Even with pay-per-view, it's just that it's not enough. They are not putting elite fights on pay-per-view. There's no elite fights going on pay-per-view. So there's no elite fights in boxing left to put on pay-per-view. It's a wrap. When you put all your fighters behind a paywall, nobody gets to feel like they grow up with them. Nobody else gets to see them. So when you took TV from ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, CW, wherever it was on regular TV, when you took it and put it on HBO, you know what I'm saying? You know, you lost, a lot of fans. They lost. And a lot of the fans that HBO retained or got was because of that. They were legacy fans that came from that ABC era when Thriller Manila was on Monday, Tuesday night. They came from that era. Now it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So it doesn't surprise me none, to be honest with you. Because even though they got a bunch of money, nobody going to spend money and had nothing in return. I mean, they got so much money, they paying girls 30 or 50, 20 to 50K for them to defecate and pee on them. I don't get that. I'm not a fetish guy. So maybe some of you guys that got fetishes, like weird fetishes, I don't understand that. That you feel like I can take a female human and defecate and pee on her. I don't get what you get out of that. But it's, I tell any women that any guys with those weird type of, I heard women say they had guys that they had guys they were with that for the guy wanted her to pee on him and all these weird fetishes. Like, come on, y'all. And y'all be sitting there like, I didn't know he was a psycho. I didn't know he was crazy. Like, come on, man. That should be crazy to be. As a man, why would I need to, like, when do we get so far away from just, a little dome, a little cheek clapping, few positions? When did that not become enough sexually? If like some people like Charlie Sheen, like he's a wild boy. We already do that. You so sexually burnt out that you turn to the other sex is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But what's crazy is I feel it's crazy just peeing and boo-boo on people. Like, I don't get it. But I would never understand that. Me personally, I could just never understand, going that far sexually, bro. I could never understand the need to go to a sex party or orgy or like I just never understand like what, like y'all that burnt out, bro. Y'all that burnt. I get it. You want a threesome, been there, cool. I get it, it's fun. But every night, like every night, what's Babyface Ray say? He said, I forget what he said. He said, I need two bitches because one ain't. I forgot how the bar go. But yeah, I mean, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all be wondering why niggas be switching sides and why females switch. They too far gone. We not meant to see so much shit sexually, bro, in general. But whatever. Even though they blowing money on that, so be it. But I feel them. I definitely feel them. But people want to return on their investment. ROI, return on investment. And right now, if you just spending money, guess what? Okay, we trying to build Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. All right, you went to America. We ain't making no money over there. Bring that shit over here at least. At least allow our community to have a spectacle and we can, that's what that's about. But he reckless. He's very reckless. And he underestimated the commercial value of these fighters. And him coming in just throwing the money, it's kind of like taking a Viagra. And I talked about that on one of my Patreon videos. I got to release it soon. And we talk about how people, it's the video. One of the videos I released on the Goodfella TV. By the time y'all see it, it'll be up on the Patreon. Links in the description, right? And I talked about the, in a few videos I've talked about this in the Patreon, how people like the quick fix um, their erectile dysfunction, right? We're talking about testosterone health. The thing about it is, before you go to TRT or testosterone boosters, whatever, a lot of people don't know why it's happening, right? They don't attack the underlying reason why. It could be diet, it could be smoke, it could be alcohol, it could be sleep, it could be lack of blood flow, which can cause cardiac arrest eventually. It could be plaque building in your arteries, which you can take things naturally. You could do things that can knock that plaque out your arteries and all that stuff, right? Stuff that you can do simply by changing. But people just like to take the quick fix, and the quick fix always comes with a cost, especially when you use and abuse a quick fix. Like a lot of those Viagra's, honey, that's for like special occasions. Like if you do get a threesome on the floor and you want to deliver pipe all night, pause. That's what that's for. Or you going on a cruise and you want to be drilling shit until kingdom come. That's what that's for. That's what that's for. But he came in and did the Viagra, to make the analogy. He came over and put a quick fix on boxing. But the problem is marketability. He should have came in, started off with the young guys, Abdullah Mason, those young guys, start getting them marketable, learning them how to speak, learning how to do PR, aligning them up with brand deals, lining them up with brand deals, had them syndicated across commercials and TV and get people familiar with them. And then you just start really growing the crops. Anything you try to build, you build it through the youth. He should have been starting with the younger fighters, building them up. And if he wanted to make some of the top fights that he wanted to see as a fan, make a few of those top fights, feature those young fighters on the undercard, groom them to know how to talk, groom them to have a image, align them with hip hop culture. And I say hip hop culture because that's what this comes to. And that's how you do it. But he just wanted to put a patch on it, and it doesn't work. So, it is what it is, man. Hit the link tree, find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, the whole nine. Join the Patreon. Peace.